Do you know that the culture of Thanksgiving has been with man since times immemorial, particularly since the times of recorded history of man? Thanksgiving was said to have started in 1621 in Plymouth, Massachusetts, United States of America, thanking God for a bountiful harvest. And it was shared by the pilgrims then. Do you know that, of course, when we are talking about Thanksgiving, it's an expression of gratitude to somebody who has favored you. But in this context, to an almighty God, in recognition of a divine factor in human existence and activities. In 1789, in the United States, the first American president, George Washington, in agreement with Congress, issued a proclamation of national thanksgiving to thank God for the new constitution. It was observed on November 26, 1789. And that got me thinking, why would the American president, as it were, the first American president, issue such proclamation of thanksgiving to specifically thank God for the new Constitution of the United States of America? Can we set out a day to thank God for the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended? Is that feasible? After George Washington in 1789, as I've just mentioned, Thomas Jefferson, the third American president, argued that the state should not intermingle with religious practice of any coloration. That such proclamation of thanksgiving by an American president violates the First Amendment, which removes totally religiosity or predominantly separates the church from the state. That such shall be left at the individual level and the state level. That was during his tenure as American president, 1801 to 1809. In 1863, a female American writer and editor by name Sarah Josepha Hale began campaigns for National Day of Thanksgiving in the United States, writing to the American president Abraham Lincoln. That was during the American Civil War. In response to her campaigns, Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation of national thanksgiving, designating last Thursday of November. The purpose was to heal the divided nation, to foster peace and unity. A time to reflect on God's goodness and His mercies, and to thank God for harvest. It will interest you to know that in that 1863, slavery was a deeply entrenched institution in the United States, such that white enslavers also joined in thanking God for harvest yielded by the labor of the slaves. The bad status of slavery notwithstanding, because slavery is not good. In 1941, Thanksgiving in the United States metamorphosed into an action or decision of law or event of law activated by law, the 1941 Congressional Act. However, the document or the legal document does not express religiosity in it. But the last Thursday of November was designated to mark Thanksgiving, to thank God for His goodness, to thank God for bountiful harvest. It's a moment where you have family reunions, family gatherings to foster peace and unity in the United States. And that National Day of Thanksgiving is being observed till date. But it is strictly a federal secular holiday. Secular in the sense that the state is not mandating any sort of religious practice in the observance of the National Day of Thanksgiving. It's left for people to do as they will, to worship whomever they think is God, or to thank whomever they think is God, in pursuit of fundamental religious freedoms. But the National Day of Thanksgiving is still being observed. It was observed last year, a moment of feasting, of joy, of family gatherings and reunion, with the jurisprudence to foster peace and national cohesion and also national unity. It boosts the sense of patriotism in American citizens. Can the National Assembly think and proceed to enact a law of a National Day of Thanksgiving in Nigeria? As it was the case in 1863, can we in Nigeria have a day that we celebrate the post-Civil War 1967 to 1970 to calm frayed nerves and to foster national cohesion, unity, and bonding amongst the several interest groups or regional groups in Nigeria? If such an act of parliament is passed, would it further or activate the 3 R's of General Yakubu Gowon of reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction? Will it? What is the mystery behind the culture of Thanksgiving at the national level, as we have found for United States of America since 1621? Is there any benefit? Can a national day of Thanksgiving in our country, Nigeria, promote advancement in all spheres of national life? Can it promote peace? Can it promote unity? These rhetorics are left for you to grapple with. Other nations also have a culture of Thanksgiving, and I'm going to mention a few. Japan has a Thanksgiving to celebrate workers, and it's always marked in November 23. Liberia also has her own version of Thanksgiving in commemoration of her ties to the United States. You will recall that Liberia in Africa was the place on the abolition of slave trade. Some black Africans were dumped. So they have a National Day of Thanksgiving commemorating of that history. In East Africa, Rwanda had a culture of Thanksgiving dating to the 11th century, but it was abolished by Belgian enslavers in 1925, which colonizers came to strip Rwanda of her cultural heritages. However, and glory to the God, after the 1994 genocide in Rwanda against the Tutsi tribe, that culture of Thanksgiving that had been there since the 11th century was revived to promote peace, to share values, and to celebrate the core heritage and the core cultural values of Rwanda, of mutual support, cooperation, etc. This culture of Thanksgiving in Rwanda that was revived in 2011 after the 1994 genocide is marked on April 7 of every year. Also, Rwanda has a genocide commemoration week where they honor the victims of the genocide and sort of thank God there was a genocide in Rwanda, but that genocide is no more. We know that there was Nigerian Biafran War 1967 to 1970, and there were victims on all fronts in Nigeria. Do we have a post-Civil War Nigeria where we celebrate and honor the victims of that war? Would that go a long way in calming the frame the frayed nerves in promoting national cohesion and unity. These rhetorics are left for you to deal with. I'm going to be rounding off here at this point, and I will come back and I will take us further in this journey on the culture of Thanksgiving. Why Thanksgiving? What are the benefits, the mysteries thereof, beyond the spiritual implications? Such that the strongest and the most powerful nation in the world, America, observes it at national level till date, with all the states in the United States consenting thereto, no dissenting voice. Would that be the situation in Nigeria? If you love this content, do well to subscribe and share. I thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.